Yo.
Hello. You think of a classic yet?
No.
Cool. I forgot to write down next week. You're really watching that Netflix movie?
Say what?
You're really watching that Netflix movie?
Which one? The Mitchell's vs. the Machines?
Yeah.
I already watched it. It's really great.
Really?
I loved it. Yeah, I was really blown away.
All right. Anything before we get started?
No, nothing really.
All right. Let me hit record. Welcome to the Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast. I'm your co-host, Bob Zarrell. With me, as always, is professional film critic Sean Patrick. Visit us at ihatecritics.net, everyone's a critic podcast.com. Excuse me. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our handle is Critics Pod. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Alexa, Stitcher, all your podcatchers, and watch us live on YouTube or listen to the podcast on YouTube by searching for Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to the show there as well. Click on the little bell above my head or somewhere near me and get notifications when we go live, usually Monday nights around 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time. And then Patreon. I got patreon.com/criticspod, the best way to help support the podcast. We got a new subscriber this week. Thank you very much, Cousin Jeff. He's back. So thank you for that. Get yourself a credit on the show and help support the podcast. There are bonus episodes out there that you haven't heard yet, specifically the Thanksgiving one from last year. I believe the A24 dropped to the normal feed this week. So
on April 24th.
Oh, it's got sometime. Why not? A24. We'll release it again in August on the 24th, just for fun. But there'll be more bonus episodes coming as well. Then there's also our TeePublic page at ihatecritics.net. If you click on the TeePublic link in the upper right-hand corner, or just go to TeePublic and search Critics Pod or Everyone's a Critic movie review podcast, and you can get some of our merch. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our episode. We're just going to jump right in. There's not a whole lot of movies this week. In fact, in some ways, it's a little repetitive. So we'll go ahead and just start with the 2021 Oscars, which aired last night.
Yeah, did you watch?
No.
Why not?
Because I hate them. Every year I get more and more annoyed. This year, I mean, I can't really complain because everybody who won deserved it, but at the same time, I would have rather had somebody else win, with the exception of maybe the director. But you really can't complain about, especially the best actor and actress. they were really good, but I would have rather seen, you know, Carey Mulligan or the girl from I can't think of the name of the movie. It was on Hulu. The Billie Holiday movie.
Oh, Andrew Day, yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Day. And or Chad, and obviously everybody wanted Chadwick Boseman to win for Best Actor.
It was a weird show. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how much you heard about the format of the show. It was very strange. They didn't do clips. They did some clips here and there, but not a lot of clips. So you didn't see many clips of the movies. What you saw were the presenters introducing the nominees in these kind of lengthy segments, talking about how they got into movies or their first thing that they fell in love with at the movies, which were good because they're well delivered. Reese Witherspoon and Laura Dern and Riz Ahmed, these are people who know how to deliver. They're charismatic, and you know, you give them a script to read from and they're going to nail it. But it was still weird not seeing clips, especially when we're talking about, when we get down to costume or cinematography, not seeing clips is kind of weird because those are such, you know, the visual elements, you know, the production design. You think maybe you're going to see a clip of the film that underlines how great the production design is. And we didn't get that, which was kind of strange.
Right.
But the strangest thing of all was that the Best Picture didn't go on last. And this is apparently a Steven Soderbergh sort of innovation. He wanted to try and put his own stamp, I guess, on this. And there's also been talk about, and I think this is just mostly conspiracy theory, about them wanting a specific winner at the end for a big emotional moment. But realistically, this was just more Soderbergh just being kind of Soderbergh and just wanting to make it his own. So instead the Best Picture, so I was watching, right, and I fell asleep for like 10 or 15 minutes during the show, and I woke up to Best Picture, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who won Best Actor. So I got on Twitter to check who won Best Actor and Actress, and everybody was just losing their mind because the Best Picture was going on ahead of Best Actor and Actress. And the theory was that many were coming forward with, oh, well, they're going to put Best Actor last because they think Chadwick Boseman's going to win and they'll get this big emotional moment to end the show. And then that didn't happen. Anthony Hopkins won for The Father, and he wasn't there. And so the show ends in this flat, you know, ending with Joaquin Phoenix going, on behalf, we accept this award on behalf of Anthony Hopkins. And we thank the Academy, and that was it. Then it cut to Questlove, and it was over on our way to this new Oscar After Dark thing, which I didn't stay up for.
Was that just put on by the network, or was that still part of the Academy?
It was, yeah, it was I think it was a network thing. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was in place of having Jimmy Kimmel host something or whatever they used to do, but yeah, it was more of an informal thing. It was one of the things that trended on Twitter all night because apparently Glenn Close was talking about "Da Butt" by EU and really impressed Spike Lee by knowing what "Da Butt" was.
Yeah, I did see Glenn Close and "Da Butt." I don't know what that meant. I didn't look up what that meant. I just saw the like two different hashtags next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if that was what they were going for,
yeah.
you don't put it at the end because that's not how you end a show. You needed to come down from something that emotional anyway, if he had one. So to me, that's a stupid place to put it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't do it for Heath Ledger, and nor should they have. And that was also a supporting actor, so that'd have been even different.
Right.
But you need that. I mean, it just sounds like it was way overthought, kind of boring. I mean, you fell asleep. But everybody was upset about it. I wish Chadwick Boseman would have won because he really deserved it. Not that Anthony Hopkins was bad because he was fantastic too. But I was almost more upset with Frances McDormand, not because she was bad either, but that was a tight category. All 5 of those performances were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I would have been happy with just about anybody. The only reason I would have said not Frances McDormand because she's won so many damn times, and let somebody else have it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't care.
I was pulling for Promising Young Woman. That was I've kind of come around on that movie, even though I ranked it low in my top 10. I've seen it again. I saw it again this weekend. It just continues to grow on me as probably the movie I think we'll still be talking about in 10 years. Not that Nomadland won't, but I think Nomadland, for what it is, it's a great movie and it's a great performance. I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but it's an old movie. It's a movie that has an appeal to an older audience. And the same goes for The Father. The same goes for Anthony Hopkins. And anybody who is really surprised that The Father won has forgotten that despite all the changes that the Academy has made, despite all the lengths that they've gone to promote diversity, the fact of the matter is, if you look at their demographics, there's still a lot of old white men who are still voting for old white men. And not to say that you have to vote for somebody because they're black. I'm not saying that. Don't get triggered, right wing. I'm saying that just is always it's tended to be. We've got 93 years of Academy history that bears out the way older white men vote on movies, and that's just a fact. I was just looking at today, like I was looking at my review of The Artist, because I'm gonna post a new review of The Artist 10 years later this week, and the Artist is a great example of an old people movie. It was an old person's movie. It was an old Hollywood movie, and then that appeal, or the King's Speech was the same way. King's Speech is a fine movie, but it's an old person's movie. It's a boring movie for being completely honest, and that just continues to happen year after year after year. It just so happened that this kind of older person movie happened to be directed by a woman of color, and that's great, and I'm glad that she won. And she's an amazing director. She's incredibly talented, and she made an incredible movie. It just happens to be the movie that happens to be about old white people. And that does tend to appeal to the older white demographic of the Academy.
Yeah, it's like I don't even feel like wasting my time on throwing racism at it. I don't care. I don't think it's that important. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I just the Oscars shouldn't be. I used to treat them like they were like the most important award there was, and now they may as well be an MTV award. I mean, all awards are stupid. The more and more we get and start looking at the movies that we like the best, sometimes they get it right, but a lot of times when they get it right with unanimously, it's because it was a weak year.
Yeah. I mean, we bear it out every year. I mean, I don't think any time we've ever picked our best movie of the year, it's not even been nominated. In 10 years of doing this show, we've never had our movie be nominated for best picture. Even get nominations for that matter. And certainly, Giants Being Lonely or I Blame Society, they're not going to get Academy Award nominations. They're not even going to get noticed. And that's a shame, because those two films for me are the two most incredible things I've seen this year.
Yeah, I mean, and Promising Young Woman in hindsight is my favorite movie of last year. I'm with you. I mean, I know you still like Ages for Happiness, which is also a phenomenal movie, but that doesn't mean Promising Young Woman is not great. But still, I mean, I knew that wasn't going to win anything. It was more of it's too unique, for lack of a better word, genre, even though it's not. I don't know. I don't know. My wife wanted to watch them, and I really don't care. I mean, it just makes me mad, and I shouldn't care, so I don't. It's like I don't watch the Grammys because I don't want to see them screw Eddie Van Halen over on a tribute. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's they don't know. It's like you're right. It's an establishment that's made up of old white guys, mainly. And they pick what they want, just like the Grammys is what, it's all about being cool. Oscars aren't about being cool. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Because it's a bunch of old white guys. But I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say other than I'm not surprised. It's funny how Chadwick goes and wins every award and then loses the Academy Award. That's happened plenty of times before, though. He's not the first.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It is what it is.
I mean, it's a silly argument. How do you say what piece of art is the best piece of art? The one that moves you the most is really the one you have to vote for. That's how I've always operated when it comes to the Critics' Choice Awards. At least in terms of my nominating ballot. Obviously, once I get to the actual balloting, most of my picks are not there. Like H's for Happiness had no chance at the Critics' Choice Awards, no matter how much I might have advocated for it. So yeah, what piece of art moves you more? For me, it was Chadwick Boseman. Over as much as I appreciate what Anthony Hopkins did, I think Chadwick Boseman. Now, I know, and again, people are going to say I'm contradicting myself because you can look at that performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and say he's not doing the best acting, he's doing the most acting. But I say he's doing the most and the best because he is volcanic. You can't take your eyes off of him for a moment that he's on screen. And for the first 10 minutes of his performance, all he's doing is talking about his shoes, and I was riveted.
And that movie called for the most acting. Viola Davis too was, phenomenal in it, and the whole cast was. It was more of almost like a stage play where they were yelling to the back of the room and really showing off. And we're not showing off, but really chewing the scenery. But it worked for what the movie was, and I love that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's when they're doing that in a movie where it doesn't make sense. That's where usually that sticks out a little too much.
Or when two people aren't on the same page, like Fences, where you've got Denzel performing on Broadway and you got Viola Davis performing in a movie.
Yeah, it's silly. Who else? Some supporting actor. That was
Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah. Tremendous performance.
Was great, but he had to split the nomination with his other
Lakeith Stanfield.
Who probably should have been the best actor category.
Probably one of them should have been. It was really weird. I don't know how they ended up choosing to do that in terms of putting them both in as supporting actors. I don't really know how that gets decided. It was bizarre that one of them should have been in the best actor category, and Stanfield probably should have been. I mean, he was the lead essentially in that film. It's bizarre that they were both treated as supporting actors. Then who was the lead in the movie? Was there not a lead?
And I'm glad they didn't split the vote, but then leads me to believe, did he not get any votes? Lakeith Stanfield, but yeah, I mean, I love that movie too. So he was. Both performances were amazing. Who won Best Supporting Actress?
Was Yoo Jung-yoon for Minari, the grandmother from Minari. She was amazing in that movie. She was just so lively and charismatic and funny, and she kept a movie that really could have been very dour from being dour, and it became more of a not a typical movie, but she brought a lightness to it that movie desperately needed. Not saying that it's an entirely comic performance, because it's not an entirely comic performance, but some of it is. Her love of professional wrestling, or her inability to be a typical grandma, or the things that her grandson complains about her, which are just wonderful. The little touches that she brought to that character are just so smart, and it's such a smartly played performance. It was absolutely deserving of Best Supporting Actress. Yeah. I think. I know I'm gonna get flack on this, but the biggest insult of the night to me was Hillbilly Elegy winning Best Makeup. Fuck you, Hollywood, and fuck you so much. That bullshit movie with those bullshit haircuts and that bullshit makeup that they were doing. I talked about it when we reviewed that piece of shit movie. It's a garbage film, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned that enough times. But for them to get Best Makeup for that burlesque of Appalachia that they did, forget it. Fuck that.
Ron Howard, he defines old Hollywood.
Indeed.
Yeah, I wish that movie didn't suck though, because I really like Amy Adams a lot. I don't care about anybody else in the movie. Do they just need to go back to comedians? I mean, I know no one was ever completely happy, but that was the safest, most.
I mean, was that the safest? I mean, because the reason they had to go to this was because that wasn't safe. They tied their wagon to Kevin Hart, and he got himself into hot water, and they had to back away.
Well, if they had not, well, they didn't have to. They actually made that worse than it was by the way they handled it. This lowest ratings ever. I mean, to me, that's less safe than back away from Kevin Hart. It's all about ratings, and you tried the James Franco thing and Anne Hathaway a few years ago. That didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
The no host kind of worked okay. Jimmy Kimmel was phenomenal, but I don't know.
The biggest laugh of the night, and there were no laughs pretty much during this entire show. It was pretty dry the whole night. The biggest laugh came after in the press conferences afterwards, where Daniel Kaluuya is talking to the press backstage, and this member, everybody knew she was a member of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, of course, the HFPA, always ready, always prepared to own themselves on camera. She starts talking about how I followed your career for years. You're so fantastic in One Night in Miami. Tell us about bringing that character back to life.
Oh my God.
She thought he was Leslie Odom Jr. Oh, thanks, HFPA. We all really need to laugh after this.
What did he say?
Oh, he was classy.
Like, wrong black guy.
Just I think I don't know exactly what he said, but he just played it off and didn't humiliate the poor woman completely.
Would have been okay too if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So do you like the setup, or would you prefer to go back to comedians, or what do you want, or do you even care?
I don't know. I'm disillusioned by the Oscars. I mean, I again, nothing against Nomadland. I think Nomadland's incredible, and it was a good choice. You couldn't go wrong. But I mean, realistically, with the demographics of the Academy, they don't really match the growing demographics of America, and they don't reflect what people like, which they shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I don't know. Do contests and art really matter?
Right. I mean, I don't want Transformers to win.
Right.
But I don't want
MTV Awards or the People's Choice Awards or the fuck.
But I want. I mean, you're right. You can't really judge it. There's so many different. Like, part of why I like Promising Young Woman so much is it was just unique. I'd never seen anything like it, and that's why I thought that should have won. Pulp Fiction, why that should have won way back when. There was nothing ever like that before.
Right.
Instead, they just go with something. Every now and then something like that wins, but very, very rarely. It's usually like Gladiator, just something very typical and Green Book.
Old white men movies. I mean, find me an old white man movie that hasn't won. Drive, in many ways, was an old white man movie. It just confirmed all their biases.
Yeah. All right. Anything else in the Oscars before we move on?
No, not really. No, I don't really have much else to say. Soderbergh didn't bring anything particularly interesting to this, other than the tracking shot of Regina King walking into the Academy Awards to give out the first award. Beyond that, the changing of the order was weird and off-putting, and the fart of an ending was abrupt and strange. And if that's what Soderbergh was going for, congratulations.
We really wanted to put a stamp on it. Open with the best movie.
Here you go.
All right.
Those with best song.
All right. Let's take if Leonard Skinner to open with Freebird. Instead of the Oscars, I watched this movie and I was a total dick the whole time. I'm not going to review it. I'm just going to I'm not a space guy at all.
Yeah.
And this is a movie about 3 people who go up in space and they found a 4th person up there stuck on the spaceship or something. I don't know. I mean, you got good actors in it. Don't get me wrong, but the whole time I'm like, telling my wife, "Do we have to watch this? Can we just go to bed?" Can I do? But I never really fully invested myself.
Yeah. Well, not even Anna Kendrick or Toni Collette didn't
I
spark
like
your interest
both
at all.
of them. I mean, when my wife said they were in it, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And then when I saw Space, I'm like, okay. And then I was in and out of sleep for the first half an hour. And so I don't know where the fourth guy showed up, how he got there. Somehow he was stuck on the spaceship when it took off. I don't know.
How do you stow away on a spaceship? That doesn't make any sense. You'd die. You'd be killed on the way there. Unless did he turn out to be an alien? Was he an alien?
No.
Spoil it.
But no, they only have enough to survive with 3 of them.
Oh,
so then they decide, do they kill him? And Anna Kendrick's fighting to keep him alive, and then oops, they lose some oxygen. I don't know. I don't remember how they lost it, but at some point, Anna Kendrick's outside with an oxygen tank and drops it.
Oops.
So then they have to get another one.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. I missed this one, so I have no idea. Yeah, I love Anna Kendrick, though. She's awesome.
She kind of plays the Bruce Willis role from Armageddon. Spoiler alert.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's good. I tried to ask Josh if he saw it and if he liked it. And here's what he said. He just texted me back. I did not. We canceled Netflix. Okay. So all right. Well,
the content we all live for. The Josh content we all live
for. You ever watch it? Let me know if I'm an idiot. Anyway, let's move on to the biggest movie of the week.
Biggest movie of the year. Are you kidding me?
Did it outdo Godzilla?
No, I don't think it did. It was close, though. It did really well, though. It was a big hit. And I actually saw Exhibitor Relations, of all people, on Twitter, of all organizations, they're the legendary box office people. They said that this movie actually confirms that day and date releasing works. Which
it's 2 for 2 then doing that.
Seemingly, I kind of get it. At the same time, I think they're leaving a lot of money on the table, not having it in theaters by itself, making people go to the theater to see it. But that's just my take. I don't really, I know I've been doing it for the last year and a half, but I don't really like watching movies at home. I would rather be in a theater. But nevertheless.
But I wouldn't go and see this in the theater, but I'll watch it on HBO. So you are going to get the people like me.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to miss some crossover, but you're going to probably get more eyes on it. But I don't know. We'll see.
Mortal Kombat, excuse me, is an adaptation of a video game from the mid-1990s, early 1990s, an arcade game prior to that. And nobody really well-known stars in this, so I can't really. I'm not going to sit here and remember who is in this. The thing I'm going to remember about this movie is just that it's silly, violent, over the top, and kind of awesome. I kind of enjoyed the silliness, the stupid, ridiculous violence of Mortal Kombat. This movie it embraces stupid so very, very well, and in the way that so many other big movies like this fail to accept stupid. And especially, I mean, and as stupid as it is, the opening 10 minutes feels like a real movie. It feels like a 70s martial arts movie that happens to have some high-end special effects, which I really liked. I was really impressed by the first 10 minutes or so. And then it goes into the Mortal Kombat stuff and, a lot of typical uniting the team stuff. And the main character is an underdog who's, trying to achieve his powers or whatever. And seems like he's washed up and all those types of tropes and whatnot. And he's an okay enough stand-in to be, he's a cardboard figure to hold up the plot. That's fine. The key to this movie is violence, hardcore violence. And I tell you what, I that stupid hat guy, the guy with the hat was really impressive. And when he throws that hat and it turns it into like a buzzsaw and just rides a woman's face right through it, I was like, yes, movie. I understand you now. And after that, I was just kind of in on just how silly, stupid, over the top, and kind of wonderful this movie is. I was laughing. I was cheering. I was happy throughout this movie. And just because they embrace the dumb. And if you embrace the dumb in this way, it's like it reminded me of Fast and the Furious. Like that's a movie series that has embraced stupid in the most magnificent way. And I get it and I'm with it. And that's what Mortal Kombat is to me.
Yeah, I went out with friends for the first time this last weekend, or at least the specific friends. And my friend Andy had seen this. I hadn't watched it yet. And he goes, you can get past the fact that the idea of Mortal Kombat's dumb. It was actually pretty good.
The Earth realm versus the Outer World. Outer World has won 10 times or 9 times. They've won 10 times. They get to take the Earth, Bob.
But I agree. One thing that they like, the rated R wasn't distracting. Like I remember when we watched Logan, you and I think we were wrong. We admitted we were wrong, but we were distracted by Logan being rated R.
Yeah.
We watched it a second time. And we're like, okay, it flows way better. But this one, it just fit. At no point was I found it awkward. It was overly violent or they were swearing. It just made sense and just made for a really watchable movie. I mean, I'd put it up there. And then you think about it, there's so many tournament movies like this, whether it's Bloodsport or Karate Kid or whatever it is.
Right.
Enough of these that, it's more than just a video game movie. So I enjoyed it for what it was, but
yeah, and they didn't even get to the actual tournament aspect of this. That's
right.
The sequel.
Right.
And you're gonna love this. This is the greatest because they're truly embracing the dumb. The rumor is, and I hope this is true, that the character of Johnny Cage, the Hollywood fighting badass that they're gonna hire for the next movie, is going to be played by The Miz.
That would be awesome.
That would be the greatest casting ever. Do this, please do this.
He deserves that too, because as much as everybody hated him for a while there, he's really pretty good. I that's another thing I watched instead of the Oscars was his documentary on WWE. That was the deal with my wife. We'll watch Stowaway, then you got to watch the Miz documentary. And it had to be him because she watched The Real World when he was on.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome. I thought you were going to say John Cena, but that'd be so much better.
Yeah, Miz is so much better choice for this. Cena's too big a star for that role.
Too big a guy too.
Mm-hmm. Miz would be perfect for this. And of course, just bringing that wrestling aspect into this, because one of the things that this movie does, and I talked about it in my review, was it kind of embraces a sort of wrestling mentality in introducing these characters, because like the character of the Scorpion, they put him over. They do. They like John Wick. Like they say, like they show you that shot of him walking through hell, still pissed off that his family was murdered, and it's like, fuck yeah, this guy's gonna fuck somebody up. Like that was great. Just putting a guy over and embracing the fact that people are kind of scared of him. That was a terrific little touch, and that character, having him bookend the movie in the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes was a great idea because he was phenomenal.
God, could you imagine if Miz is the star in the next one and it's successful? That's just going to make him I mean,
it makes him more insufferable on television. It's great.
But now you could have like 3 wrestlers that are like, because he could blow up. I could see him working and making it as an actor if in the right scenarios, because he's fun enough. He's that'd be kind of fun. My wife might actually watch it. Although we don't watch Ms. and Mrs.
Nobody watches Ms. and Mrs. It's fine.
Enough people do. Keep making them. But no, I mean, it's on HBO. It's in theaters. It's worth turning on if you got nothing else to do. I think I don't know.
Just embrace the silliness of it. That's the key. If you go into it thinking you're going to watch a serious like martial arts movie, or if you're going into it thinking you're just going to watch a regular, movie, then you're kind of going in with the wrong attitude, which I'm not calling out other critics, but I thought a lot of other critics were going in treating this movie like it's something that it's not. And you got to treat this movie like, Yeah. What did Chris? There's a great Chris Rock quote. Like, you're not going to call the mentally deficient kid for double dribble. That's
Right.
like, you don't hold him to the same standards that you hold other movies to.
It's not the way Chris Rock said it.
Right? No. I'm not going to say it the way he said it.
I guess I do have a question though. Did you watch this one first or the other ones first?
I watched this one first.
I was the other way around. I watched the other ones first, and I don't know if that helped my opinion or not.
Because I've already seen
it a little bit.
I saw Mortal Kombat 95 in theaters.
Really?
I was a big fan of the arcade game. I played the arcade game in the early 90s. Whenever my mom forced me to go to the laundromat with her, I would always play like an hour of Mortal Kombat.
I sucked at it. If I could get you in the corner and I could just kick you, and when nobody could move, that was me. It's the only thing I could do in that game. But anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event for the linear, legitimate, and universally recognized, undisputed classic.
Only because I don't have another soundbite, but Mortal Kombat from '95.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 95. I didn't know actually going in that I'd forgotten, I guess, that this was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. And it took me like 3 minutes to realize, oh, this is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, because this is shit. It's really terrible. But I gotta say, it's terrible in the same, in a less good way as the new one. Because this one is so bad. It's the definitive so bad it's good. It's I was eating this movie up. It was just so deliciously bad in every way, from Christopher Lambert to these, the absolute embarrassment of a performance that is Bridget Sampras, who just, absolutely, who directed her to act like that? That poor woman. She's bounced back so well from this, because she looked like a goddamn amateur in this fucking movie. It's embarrassing to watch. I was cringing for her every time she had to read a line. Then there's just this sort of absent-minded misogyny that's going on throughout the entire movie, where she's not allowed to have a big fight. Everybody's got to save her, and anytime she gets into trouble, somebody's stepping in to help her. And it's like, in the game, Sonya Blade's a badass. She can fight on her own, but no, and everybody's got to save her in the movie, because there's just this subtle misogyny that filters through. It's just very 90s in that way. But there's so many great moments in this. Christopher Lambert's choice to reveal himself wearing this giant hat, and then he lifts his face up to reveal himself, and his eyes are like, one's going one way and one's going the other way, and you're like, why would you do that? Why would you do that for your big reveal? Because the rest of the movie, he's not cross-eyed. I don't think he's cross-eyed as a regular thing. It's just the rest of the movie, his eyes seem fine. He just chose to do it in this moment because, I don't know, I'm Christopher Lambert. Fuck it. But that's his entire performance too. It's just, he just doesn't give a shit. He's so bored and just his listless. Then the direction, the choices, like for a time, like early in the movie is just blue, and you're going, why is the movie blue? Why is it blue? What is causing the movie to be blue? And then it's orange. It's like, why the hell is the movie orange? What is the choice that is? Why are you making these choices? But they're the kind of choices. They're the kind of terrible choices that you only get from a really great bad movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, they clearly know they're in a bad movie. Nobody acts like that for real. It's not the same.
It felt earnest to me.
I don't know how it felt earnest to you.
It felt like a legitimate effort on these people's parts, and they just that poignant form of failure that I appreciate so much in really great bad movies.
See, I think I know. They clearly know they're not making Citizen Kane, but I don't know. I thought it worked in a watchable fashion. I guess way more than the next one does. But at the same time, it was just like 90s bad. But like, I don't even know. It's hard to even describe it. I didn't like it in the laugh at it kind of way, because it just, it was like action movie acting, only action movies that kind of died off at this point. And now you're doing the Paul Anderson movies. I don't know. I don't really say about it other than when I worked at Hardee's. My brother worked there with me. That's a restaurant for all you not in the Midwest. It's Carl Jr.'s elsewhere, or Carl's. It used to be Carl's Jr. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Right.
He had the soundtrack to this. That annoying ass theme song where they yelled Mortal Kombat at the beginning. I'm not kidding you. For like 3 hours straight, he played it, and just on repeat. And finally, the biscuit lady comes back and goes, "If you play that one more time, CD player, I'm gonna throw it away." And like maybe 2 minutes go by, and all of a sudden, Mortal Kombat! She goes running back there and threw the CD player away. That's about all I have.
Yeah,
movie though.
I did see an interview. An interview with the guy who yells Mortal Kombat on the song, and his one regret is that he makes no money from it whatsoever. He got paid one time, and he gets nothing in the future for people who have repeated that over and over for decades.
Jeez. There was one I did appreciate the "get over here" and the "finish him." At least they threw that in there. But
Harry Tagawa is a legend, and the man. The man can do no wrong. He's terrible. Everybody's terrible in this movie, but he's terrible in that wonderfully delicious sort of way.
But this is way worse. I mean, you can't even get Christopher Lambert back. You get the guy from Saw, and not even like Jigsaw, but like the other guy.
Oh man,
it's unwatchable. I mean, even read the tagline: "Destroy all expectations." Is exactly what this movie is.
I couldn't even remember the continuity from the end of the previous movie. They couldn't, and obviously, I mean, Bridget Sampras obviously saw her performance in the first. Like, there's no fucking way I'm doing that again.
You used all my bad takes. No, way better than this, and you ruined me, or nearly did.
They could have destroyed her career, but thankfully it didn't. This movie is, again, as terrible as it is, I was laughing the whole time. It made me laugh. I was laughing at it, not with it, but I was laughing at it the whole time because it is so very, very funny. Dexter's dad is the one who plays Christopher Lambert's role in this movie, and he's committed to the performance, I guess.
What it is. It's not the guy from Saw. Never mind. Looks like him. This was borderline unwatchable as far as I'm concerned.
It's so bad. Lyndon Ashby wouldn't even come back for this. And who the hell is Lyndon Ashby? Like, even he was going like, nah, I don't want any part of that.
And it wasn't like this was 10 years later. It was 2 years later.
2 years, yeah. But what's funny is that this movie failed bad enough that there was a producer who stepped in and bought the rights to Mortal Kombat, and based off of Annihilation, he managed to launch a road show of Mortal Kombat. So he would take it around the country and do all these Mortal Kombat karate exhibitions. And he's the guy who went on to make Food Fight, that awful animated movie that failed so miserably several years later.
That's cool.
So yeah, weird connections. Speaking of weird connections, you know who directed this movie?
I looked it up, but I didn't know the name.
It's John R. Leonetti. He's the director of Annabelle. So what a weird career this guy's had, like 20 years apart, the biggest moments of his career.
Where he takes something that was successful and makes something shitty.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the game was also starting to fall off at this point, too, if I remember right. It wasn't as popular as it once was. They must have been a new game that came out recently, right? There's
like Mortal Kombat 11 or 12 or 14. I mean, they've been making them for a while now.
Well, and I didn't like Ronda Rousey dress up as a character or something like that a couple years ago at one of the wrestling pay-per-views.
Yeah. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were dressed as Mortal Kombat tonight.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt Raw. I forgot all about.
I just saw a picture of it. I didn't. I wasn't watching it. But no, it's had a cultural impact for sure. Not Annihilation. I mean, Mortal Kombat in general. Annihilation is probably the most forgotten aspect, and for many very good reasons, because it is epically terrible. I just can't even begin. The thing about this is it's not nearly as fun as Mortal Kombat, because the 95 Mortal Kombat, because you don't have Christopher Lambert, and you don't have the performances are bad in a different way, in that they're just plain bad, as opposed to like they were probably directed that poorly in the first film. Here they're just kind of left to their own devices, and they're just all sort of wooden and boring. And except for that one dude who the big bad who is just chewing the scenery. That guy is one of the worst actors in the history of acting, and he is hysterical to watch. I don't know his name. I wish I did, but yeah, he was wow. Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, this took a lot of effort this weekend.
We watched 3 versions of Mortal Kombat. That's our show this week.
Yeah. And now we're moving on to the 30-year movies. So that's all you got. Me complaining about a movie I didn't really pay attention to, and then the Mortal Kombats. I didn't watch anything from 91, but I've seen Oscar a million times. I pretend to love it. I just like it. It's not Hot Shots. It's not Naked Gun as much as I want it to be. It's trying to be.
Trying to be a movie as opposed to, like a parody.
Oh, it's definitely a parody. It's over the top.
It doesn't really go into that level of parody. I mean, it's more of an noises off than it is a Hot Shots.
It's like a step down from that. You're right. It's not a total parody where they're not, but it's definitely
there's definitely a more of a story being told here. On the day that Oscar is set to go legit and give up his gangster ways, he's also meeting his daughter's potential husband, and he's also got a bunch of people who are trying to draw him back into his criminal career, and it's just a lot of doors slamming, people coming in, people leaving, lots of energy. And the thing about that is that Stallone really doesn't do lots of energy. He's not an energetic actor. I don't think that's a controversial statement. He's a very reserved performer, and the type of performance that you're looking for in a movie this is one that can hold the center. And while he's very charismatic, and he does somewhat hold the center, he's also the least interesting character in the movie, because he's surrounded by all these wacky characters going left, right, and whatever all around him, and he seems out of step throughout the entire movie.
And the fact that he's a big star doesn't help either, because he is the middle guy trying to, you have all the wackiness going side by side, next to him.
Tim Curry.
Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely not a straight ahead comedy. It's definitely slapstick and, like you said, door slamming, and it's a different type of comedy than your straight up stuff.
Put this person in this room to keep them away from this person, and
right. But I thought they pulled it off enough to make it watchable and somewhat fun, but obviously not memorable, because no one really knows this movie.
It was one of my mom's favorite movies. That's all I remember, really, more than anything about this. She really liked this.
Did she see A Kiss Before Dying? Matt Dillon.
No one saw A Kiss Before Dying.
Okay. Talent for the Game.
I've seen this movie so many times. It was on HBO forever and a day in the late 90s, and it was kind of hard to miss. Edward James Olmos is a baseball talent scout who may have found his one last chance at getting a guy to the majors. Lorraine Bracco's his love interest, and I gotta say, Edward James Olmos is really great in this movie. He's really charismatic and fun, and as this kind of, not a loser, but just the kind of guy who just hasn't had any breaks, and he's finally kind of getting a break, and he's really lively, in a way that you don't really remember from Edward James Olmos, because he kind of has, again, he's more of a staid, reserved, respectable kind of actor. And here he's kind of dirty. He's kind of, in the moment, and he's lively in a way that's very entertaining. And this is not a movie that anybody remembers, but it's certainly one that for some reason has stuck with me, especially because he's having so much fun. And it's that kind of thing where his fun and Lorraine Bracco's fun is kind of translating into you having fun while watching it. And it's a baseball movie, so it has that going for it as well.
I've never seen it, but sounds good. Maybe I'll watch it if it's ever on. Toy Soldiers. I could not find a good picture of this.
I think I've seen this movie. I don't remember exactly. Is this the one where like one of the prep school gets taken over by terrorists and the outsider bad boys have to come together and get the bad guys?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know that I've ever seen it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but that's escaping me now.
Yeah, that's all the movies for this week. Next week, we got Without Remorse on Amazon Prime, The Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix. Here Are the Young... is that right? Here Are the Young Men?
Yes.
The County and Berlin Alexander Platz. I put an N in there for no reason. And in 1991, One Good Cop, A Rage in Harlem, and Truly Madly Deeply came out. We're still working on a classic. We'll let you know later.
Yeah. Well, there we go with Cronenberg or Miike.
So much time we got. Let's see here. Where is Flickchart? Are you here? Yes. All right. Constantine, or you have time for Flickchart, I'm assuming?
Sure, yeah.
Constantine, The Thing, Terror Takes. This is not a movie, is it?
No, I think that's a documentary.
Constantine or Blast from the Past?
Two not great movies that I have a real soft spot for, honestly. It's kind of a coin flip. I actually really like Blast from the Past. I'd probably watch that.
You want me to flip a coin?
Yeah. If you don't have any passion for either one.
I do not. Blast from the Past wins. 10 Things I Hate About You, Platoon.
It's 10 Things I Hate About You for me, because that's the movie I would watch first.
I like that movie, but I feel like I have to defend Platoon against people who just forget that it's really good. So I'm going to go Platoon.
Quarter.
Platoon. Let's see what's next. Looper, A Perfect World.
Looper.
Is A Perfect World terrible?
It's not great.
I seem to remember that getting torn apart when it came out way back when. I'm going to skip one of these movies here. We got Philadelphia or A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, you've never seen Clash of the Titans?
The cartoon?
Was it a cartoon? I thought it was the Clash of the Titans movie.
No, it was like the 2001 cartoon or something. Yeah.
Okay. Philadelphia.
Jingle All the Way, Tombstone.
Tombstone.
I showed my son one of these movies.
I wonder which one that is.
I wanted to watch an Old West movie, and I was like, he's the only one you'll probably get through. And
hey, look. Hey, Bob, look. Kevin Bacon's dick is back.
Oh, Hollow Man in the Fountain. Kevin Bacon's dick's in the fountain.
I'll take Weepy Hugh Jackman. Hollow Man's really bad. Really
yes. Bad. A Time to Kill, Clue.
Clue.
Go with Time to Kill.
I worry that Time to Kill hasn't aged well.
I don't know. But I remember reading the book in like 8th grade, and I think they're making a sequel to it or something, and Matthew McConaughey is going to be in it. Freddy versus Jason, The Harder They Come.
I've not seen The Harder They Come.
Or have I? That's next week's classic. Freddy versus Jason, Austin Powers, and Goldmember.
Freddy versus Jason. I find Goldmember almost unwatchable.
And Freddy versus Jason's way too watchable.
Yes.
Chronicles of Riddick, The Last House on the Left remake.
Chronicles of Riddick.
I hate that movie so much. I do like the remake, but I'll flip anyway. Chronicles of Riddick wins. I hate that whole series. And I'm the minority on the podcast there. Swordfish, One True Thing.
They're both crap. One True Thing. I like Renee Zellweger.
Flip again. I like Halle Berry. You win.
2 specific reasons why you like Halle Berry?
Well, 3. I like her overall too. This will be a fun. The Academy Award winning Crash or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
That's perfect. End of Days, The Prestige.
I mean, if we could, I'd put Crash in there and just make it be last. Just pick every movie ahead of it. The Prestige.
I mean, we can. Crash, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That's actually Idiocracy. Idiocracy, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Idiocracy. It's desperately flawed, but it's better than that garbage.
Cocktail, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee.
I remember I wanted Cocktail to be so much better than it was. It was so bad. Mean Girls, Showgirls.
It's Mean Girls.
Mean Showgirls. Mad Max, Simon Birch.
Oh, God. They're both terrible. Flip a coin. I don't care. They're both unwatchable.
Flip. There we go. Mad Max.
I realize I'm going in hard on Simon Birch, but nobody really, I'm sure there's no one who cares.
And hard on Mad Max too.
No, Mad Max deserves it.
People like it though. Star Trek Into Darkness, or 3 Men and a Baby.
Star Trek. I'd rather watch that.
Yeah. Frost Nixon, The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian.
Frost Nixon. Great movie.
Absolutely. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Stargate.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Whatever. I don't care enough about Stargate. I hate that movie too. Horrible Bosses, Trading Places.
I feel like I can't vote for Horrible Bosses just because of that picture.
Yeah. It would have been tough for me, but because of the poster, I'm going Trading Places.
Like Trading Places, yeah. Even though I don't think Trading Places is very good.
I think Trading Places is awesome. Kevin Spacey, if had been anybody else, I would have probably
right.
Up a coin.
Can we go back and insert Christopher Plummer into a movie? Just all of his old movies. Let's put him into American Beauty. Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. Why waste their time? If it's bad, let's just let it stay bad. Gives us more reason to hate it. It or Child's Play.
It.
2017 version.
Yeah, if it were the TV version, I'd be whining.
Death Becomes Her, Monty Python, The Meaning of Life.
Monty Python.
Yeah. Star Trek Insurrection, 1998. Hellraiser, Deader.
I've never seen Hellraiser, Deader. So like 6 or 7. What is that?
Like 15. Star Trek Insurrection, Crimson Tide.
Thank God, Crimson Tide.
Is that our classic? Is that a Tom Clancy book?
don't know. Is it? I have no idea. It feels like one.
The Burbs, Rear Window.
Rear Window.
That's tough. Obviously, it's Rear Window. Billy Elliot, The Abyss.
I actually thought about Billy Elliot as a classic next week because the star of that film is in one of the new movies next week. Billy Elliot.
It's fine by me if you want to do that. Submarine, Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain.
Agreed. The Goonies, The Omen.
Oh boy. Gosh, I don't really care. Honestly, I think they're both bad.
I think The Goonies is better.
Then that's fine.
Diamonds Are Forever, Gosford Park.
Gosford Park.
White Chicks, Red Dragon. Sounds like one movie.
If it was Eric Andre and Lil Rel, maybe, but I'll go Red Dragon.
Office Space, Atomic Train.
I don't think I've seen Atomic Train. Now I want to, though.
Stars Rob Lowe.
And Esai Morales.
Office Space, Beethoven.
Office Space.
Agreed. The Hateful Eight, Babylon AD.
Hateful Eight, yeah. I didn't need to think about that. Nightmare Before Christmas. Sorry, I hate even having to say the other title.
Nightmare Before Christmas or Boondock Saints. Sky High, My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Controversial statement. I really like My Bloody Valentine 3D.
I think Sky High is one of the best kids movies of all time. So I'm going Sky. I watched before having kids, and I was like 2 years removed or away from having kids.
Yeah.
I watched Sky High like every day.
That's great. I saw it one time and forgot about it.
Oh, it's so great. Kurt Russell is best and Kelly Preston's really good. But you win. RoboCop 2, Sleepers.
Sleepers.
Dirty Harry, The Ottoman Republic.
Never seen The Ottoman Republic.
Terrible name.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry or Babel?
Babel.
Days of Thunder, The Full Monty. Sequel.
Full Monty.
I agree. 28 Weeks Later, Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York for me.
If it was days, I'd go 28 Days Later. But Thor, Dark World, Dirty Harry.
Thor, The Dark World.
Elektra, The Quick and the Dead.
The Quick and the Dead, but only because Elektra's really bad.
Platoon, Blades of Glory. I'm getting ready for the big fuck you.
It's Platoon. It's Platoon.
Good.
I had to think about it though.
You realize how bad Blades of Glory really is. Legends of the Fall, Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Anthony Hopkins can't win them all.
Mm.
Cars or Once Upon a Time in the West.
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. Walking Tall, Octopussy.
Walking Tall.
Stephen King's The Stand. That's not a movie. That doesn't count.
It's a TV movie.
TV miniseries, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
I heard podcasts are like, what are they fucking talking about? Mary Poppins Escape from New York.
That's tough. That's a tough one. I'm going back and forth on that because I know the cool pick is Escape from New York, but I actually really love Mary Poppins. Escape from New York.
I agree. I thought for sure you're going to go Mary Poppins.
I thought about it.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're right. The cool pick's Escape from New York because of the age we are and whatever, but I like it enough.
I've not seen the original Insomnia.
This isn't the Al Pacino one?
No. No, the original one was made in Iceland, I believe.
Excess baggage, the day the earth stood still.
Let's see. Well, they're both bad. And the day the earth stood still is an insult to the original. I'll go excess baggage.
I'll agree with you. Enemy at the Gates, Hannibal.
I mean, Enemy at the Gates isn't very good, so Hannibal by default.
Inspector Gadget, The Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
It's
a definite winner.
Flick Shark's given up. 6 days, 7 nights, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It's like, guys, you ranked all the movies. What are you doing?
They're like, in the podcast.
Monty Python.
See if they can give us something to go out on. They cannot. 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Prince of Egypt.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Rambo 3, Footloose.
Footloose.
Gotta wait. The Lovely Bones, Apocalypse Now.
Ooh, wow. Damn. Honestly, I'm gonna get flack for this, but I think The Lovely Bones is a better movie.
Yeah, it's back to the soundtrack and the story behind the movie versus the movie. You're probably right, but I'm still gonna go back a little bit. It's also about the cool choice again.
Right.
But you win. Lovely Bones. Major League, Tenacious D, and the Pick of Destiny.
I'm gonna go Major League, but I love Tenacious D.
I do too. I actually probably watched Tenacious D first, but I can quote Major League, like everybody can quote it. Stargate, Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Deadpool, Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Ooh, that is tough. Man, that's tough.
What movie would you rather be in? Would you rather be Ryan Reynolds or Javier Bardem?
I would rather be Javier Bardem, but I'm gonna let the Woody Allen hate push me over to Deadpool.
I'm gonna be Javier Bardem too, though. Oh Jesus! Terminator 2, Judgment Day, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
I love Catching Fire. I think The Hunger Games is a great series, but T2 for me.
I don't get
childhood nostalgia getting in the way.
Damn it. Giving us time to get off, and I kept going anyway. Due Date, Alien Resurrection.
I'll only pick Due Date because Alien Resurrection is so bad.
Yeah, I mean, Due Date should be way better than it is based on
absolutely
who directed it. But The Apartment, Private Parts.
Again, this is tougher than it should be. I think Private Parts is easily one of the greatest radio movie ever made. There's no doubt. And Stern over delivers unquestionably. But The Apartment's an all-time classic, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. So that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like Private Parts, but it's not on the same level. In Bruges, Arlington Road.
In Bruges.
Now, was Arlington Road any good? I remember thinking it was at one point, but that was also when I was a kid.
It's not awful. It's just not very good.
Like one of the main stars died at the end.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2, The Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby.
Goodfellas, Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog.
That's not a movie.
Fuck. Come on, give me something hard.
Fuck that. That's not hard.
I know.
That's not hard. Hey, there's a good matchup.
Goodfellas Spotlight for the end.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's not that hard. All right. Once you have the classic, let me know. And if I think of something, we could. But if you want to do Billy Elliot, I'm fine. If you want to, if Crimson Tide's a Tom Clancy thing, we could do that. If you want to do Mike or Cronenberg, I'm up for it.
All right. I'll let you know.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.